Two wheels are better than four. From the mountains to the shore, find us rolling up to the pub. We're 17 Scooters Club.
Hello everybody, welcome to 17 Scooters Club podcast. I'm Olivia.
I'm Kate.
I'm Natalie.
Natalie, are you frozen? Are you frozen on Katie's screen? Or is it
Katie
just me?
does.
I know
Oh,
I'm
no,
still.
You are just very still.
I thought Natalie was just sitting very still. Oh, I see you now. But I thought she was just sitting like a statue. But anyways, we are back. We're Boot, Scoot, and Boogie. And I don't know why I've never said that before
Hardly in a
on this
Chattahoochee.
podcast.
I think we were saying that in California.
Chattahoochee. I definitely did not pick up on it.
I did not either.
I think
I was in another universe. That's funny. Aw, big stretch, Winston. Well, welcome to 17 Scooters Club.
Welcome. Nat, your hair does look really dark today. Is it dirty?
Probably. I mean, it looked really blonde earlier, and then I went to my MMA class, and now it's dark.
It doesn't look dirty through the screen, though. It just looks dark.
It just looks really
good.
dark.
Maybe it's just the lighting.
Maybe, I like it.
Thanks. It changes color on its own.
Yeah, I wanted to dye my hair dark, and I did, but she gave me a, I even asked her both times, and she gave me a, like, non-permanent color. She's like, it'll wash out for people who aren't going to keep up with their roots like you. And I'm like, rude? But okay.
Rude?
I'm glad that you did.
I'm almost back. I know. But you could definitely tell, like, my roots are still lighter than the rest of my hair, which is usually opposite for other people. So it's coming back, and it's getting blonde again for summertime. But, yeah, it was fun for a fun little amount of time.
My hair's
Also,
wet
she was
right
right.
now.
I would not have done my roots.
No. I was going to say, I think your hair color looks like my hair color right now, but mine's wet. But when it dries, at the end, we'll compare.
We'll compare at the end. Anyways, I feel like we're just chatting. So if you guys keep up with our podcasts, I feel like from the very beginning, we just kind of started as like a chatty podcast, and I loved that format. I liked the conversation of it all. I'll keep this short and sweet for those listening. But anyways, I really liked the chattiness conversation of it all. I thought it was entertaining. And then we kind of went to all conspiracies, which is fun. Like, conspiracies are really awesome, but then I kind of started missing the conversational part. And so now we're kind of going to try to combine them all. And at the this was my idea from a while ago, but I'm like, we can't combine it all. Like, it's going to be so rumble jumbled, it's not going to work. But then I remembered, A, we love camp counselors and their variety show, so that works. And B, I stumbled across a podcast that literally talks and chats, does games, like has the funny banter, silly conversations all throughout, and at the end they end it with a conspiracy. And I'm like, wait, we could literally do that, and it's fine. And we thought of it before they were doing it, but we never followed through. So I think we're going to follow through now.
I like it. Well said.
Well,
Do it.
And we'll just see how it goes. Let us know in the comments what you think.
Welcome to the group chat.
Welcome to the group chat. So,
The scooter has scooted into the group chat.
so the other day I was in the car. No, actually, this was this morning in the car with Hassam, and he brought back a memory by one word, and you guys are gonna know it instantly. But anyways, he said something. We were just like bantering back and forth, and he said, I was like, oh, I hope it's working. And no, he said that, and then I said, what, the trees? Like, how would the trees not be working? And he goes, they could be falling. And he goes, timber. And I'm like, timber. I have a story about that. Does someone want to tell a story?
I think
Katie started it. You and Keely
I thought Natalie started it.
Oh, maybe I did, and then you guys
I know I didn't.
You made it a thing. I think I did it by accident. Or not by accident, just like out of nowhere.
I think it was a dare. Maybe it was me. I don't know.
I don't know.
The only thing I remember is that
Going to explain it to the
I'll
listeners.
explain what it is, but I don't remember how it started. It's kind of like this old school, like I want to say 80s or 90s.
Camping sleeping mat.
Yeah, but it's like a big mat that you roll up, and it's not very portable. Like if you went to go put it in the back of your car, it's quite large.
Yeah.
And we used to camp all the time, and we just used to use it. But
We
then
used to use it as
somehow,
sleepovers too. We would be like, go pull out timber. Because it
yeah,
was like sleeping bag material, but it was a big mat and you just rolled it up and it would just be like a big, basically big log.
Yeah.
yeah, like the size of a small person.
And like the height of us.
It was
Yeah.
taller than me.
But
Well,
all I remember is just yelling
whoop-de-doo.
timber and falling over on it. But
Yeah, basically. We would roll it
Yeah.
up and that was like a game to us. We would hold on to like the little straps and just
fall on it
like
like the
it would
cushion.
be it would be vertical and then we would just like hold on to it and like slam onto the ground and be like timber. I don't know. We
And
found dumb things fun.
yeah, and then we just for years and years and years, it would just be like honestly, I think we'd bring timber down to show our friends. I'm pretty sure we've
We
done that.
would. That would be a
And
And
game.
then we would do it for fun. Like we weren't even rolling it out to play. We'd be like, "Guys, you want to see timber?" And we would go get the sleeping mat and then be like, "Timber!" I feel like there were some friends that came from normal families that were like, "What?" But like Becky for sure was into timber because we were just
Keely
destructing
liked it.
things.
That
Keely
would
liked
happen
timber.
all the time though, because like
It was
I'd
always
have
Natalie's
friends.
friends. Always Natalie's
No,
friends.
all of my friends, or
We're normal.
not all of my friends, but a lot of my friends, they'd be like, "We like hanging out at your house because you guys like
Oh.
you do fun stuff and like there's not any rules." And we just like, I don't know, everyone just liked hanging out at our house because we were weird.
'Cause
And
we were
everyone
weird.
else's house, like you would go and you'd like take off your shoes. You'd have to play with like the toys that are like there, and then yeah, like there would be snacks put out for you. And
I
you'd
know.
only be able to do like normal things, but like ours, we'd be like, let's go frolic in the woods, or like let's go like timber, and like let's go.
Play with
I
the
don't know.
sleeping
Whatever.
mat.
We would
I
dress up
know.
and do America's Next Top Model photo shoots and like make dances and make
American
forts.
Idol. Our
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Okay, we always say this, but like if our version of Harry Potter that we created went on YouTube when we created it, we would have had a career. Like I
Yeah.
get so pissed off that like we didn't do that. I think it was because mom was so against the internet. But like if there was any sort of access of us knowing that we could have gotten that on, well, I don't know how we would have gotten it from the VCR onto the computer to upload it, number one. But if we were able to do that, like we would have gone viral and we would have been like the first 100 YouTubers, but we didn't.
If
Also,
we uploaded it when Vine came out, we would
about
have.
about the other thing about people's houses, I do recall going to a I had a few Indian friends growing up because it's New York. And I remember the feeling of going to their house because I walked in, I was all muddy, like we had run outside, like we're like dirty people. They're the cleanest people ever. Like you take your shoes off at their door and I just walked right, like nobody told me. I just walked right into their kitchen like, "Oh,
Mhm.
take the shoes off." And I'm like they loved coming to our house, just saying.
Yeah. Well, because it was just different, and they're like, "Wait, we can do this, and it's like we can make a
Yeah.
mess."
We could play Ouija boards in the attic? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the fun
Anyway.
house.
So we did. Oh Lord, hold on. I'll be back.
Oh lordy.
Take the wheels. Just take the wheel.
Jesus,
Take
take the
the-
wheel.
Take the scooter handles.
Nat, did you dig your coworkers out of the sand?
Oh yes. So we obviously I live in the desert. And we work on I guess base, which is a field of desert. So there's just a ton of sand everywhere and we dig holes everywhere. So a lot of places are very remote and require off-roading and some people just don't know how to do it. So I have this coworker that is notorious for getting their vehicle stuck in the sand.
Wait, pause. Without disclosing, are they like give a brief overview? Like what is this? Like don't say their name, but what kind of
nice little
person?
stereotype.
Old, young, yeah, do some stereotyping here.
Um,
Middle aged.
um,
Nelly's like, I will not be doing that.
he's like 30 years old, very like by the book and
Okay.
like careful, maybe lacks a little bit of confidence, isn't like the best problem solver.
Okay.
Oh,
The
so
world
are
really
they?
tries.
So they're getting stuck because they're not driving confidently through the desert, and then they get
Yes,
stuck,
and
and
also
then
just
they're
driving
over.
into places that they shouldn't, especially when they don't have a four-wheel drive vehicle.
Okay, so they're
Um,
dumb and not confident. That's not great.
so I don't know. Like, I get a call. It's like Friday. I'm finally like on the couch. Like, I cracked a Coors Light because I had,
How
or
long
no,
did
this was
it?
after after. So
No, you were in the
finally get
grocery
home.
store.
I was at the yeah, I was at the grocery store. I had a million things to do. It was a long day. I was like prepping for the next week because I'm on two projects at the same time. Anyway, it was a hard day. I finally get home and I'm like, and I get a call, and it's Natalie. We got we got stuck. Is there any chance you can come pull us out? And I'm just like thinking, oh, okay, like whatever. I'll just go get stuck. So they drop a pin. I go pick up extra toe straps because I didn't have any toe straps. Um, and I
Did they pay you
finally
for
get there.
those?
The company does, so I get to keep
Okay,
them.
that's good.
So I show up, like, not really knowing what to expect, but I'm like, okay, this person gets stuck a lot, so I'm assuming it's probably pretty bad knowing their judgment and like driving. And so I get there, I could not believe it. I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, how is there a car here right now? So I was scared to tow them out because I was like, there's no way I can get there in a four-wheel drive truck and pull them out without getting stuck. But I was like, whatever, I'm gonna try anyway. Like, I'm on the clock. Let's go see what happens. So to describe the location that they were stuck in, imagine you're like looking at a desert. There's a bunch of sand, there's like brush everywhere, there's like hills, and you get like areas where there's like kind of a little cliff and a wash of sand where it's just like loose sand, cliff on both sides. They're in the middle of like that cliff area in the wash of sand because they try to drive through it, like
Oh
off of
no.
one side of the cliff,
Where are they going?
to locations where we have to dig holes. But normally, you would park your vehicle on like a hard location and just like walk all the equipment over there.
You guys need
Um,
horses.
we do need horses.
I would
If we could
love
have
that.
a horse mounted rig, that would be great.
Bring some mules with
But
you.
anyway,
Yeah.
just like looking at this location, I couldn't stop laughing just because I could not believe that someone would drive into like I'm just like imagining them driving um just like off the cliff, like we got it, we can drive through this, and just like driving off the cliff into the sand pit. And I was like, I have to pull you up a cliff and like you're in sand. But I was like, all right, whatever. So I back up to them, dig their like, well, I make them dig their wheels out because I'm like digging your wheels, you guys can figure that out. And we have skid plates that you can like put under the tires, so I give them two, but then I put two under my tires because I'm like, if I'm pulling them and my wheels are just spinning, pulling them, like I don't want to get stuck in the sand either. So I put skid mats under mine. And finally, I'm just like, okay, like let's just do this. Pull them out. They finally make it out, and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, you saved us, like really. And I was like, oh, can we just
Like,
not get stuck anymore? Like,
yeah, next
it
time.
happens like multiple times a week. Because I was driving. Like, why are you shaking?
My
So I was
tire.
driving. Oh, okay. I thought you were doing it on
Like you're,
purpose.
it looks like you're hopping.
Okay, so the same
Earthquake!
person,
I don't want to joke about that.
the same person, um, we were out and we just like limited the amount of cars that we were taking. So I was with this individual in their vehicle, and then we had one other vehicle, and this was like literally 3 days before I pulled them out of the sand pit. Um, Another off-road sandy area. There's just certain areas where you're driving and you're like, oh, it looks really sandy. I'm not going to drive into that. Or like, oh, this feels like I might get stuck. Like, I'm not going to drive into that. Drives into just some really sandy area, starts to get stuck, and is like, oh no, slams on the gas and is
No.
sitting the wheels down. And I'm just like, we're sinking, and I'm like, stop,
Okay,
stop, stop, stop.
Is he new to this area, or like
He's
has he
lived
been working
in
with you guys for a while?
lives in Lancaster, which is like an hour away, but maybe just doesn't off-road all the time.
Maybe
But
not.
I'm like we
That's kind of funny.
we know this.
This should be like
Like,
a training. Like you guys should get trained on how to drive in the sand.
It's like like don't drive somewhere where you're gonna get stuck. Like
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
they
don't.
just have you to pull them out, so they're like, it's fine.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. I would probably wouldn't have answered, but I guess if I was getting paid for it,
I
maybe.
didn't know that was gonna be the call. Like,
Yeah.
hey, can you come pull us out?
Yeah, you were like,
But-
oh no, like did we mess up at work or something?
I'm just like, I just am still thinking about like when I arrived. I was like, no way.
You sent us Snapchats and I was dying over them.
The
I'm like,
sand
you
was halfway up
like
the needle.
it was almost it was bad.
Yeah, and just the location too. I was like, who would like? I would not try to drive through that. Like, who would try to drive through that?
Yeah,
Some people
I
do,
don't know.
clearly.
Yeah.
Anyways.
it was just funny.
I was thinking of sharing my poo poo Pilates
You should.
story. I gotta find it. It's written in my notes somewhere. Unless I might have deleted it because I already sent
Is it-
So
Is it in your email? Did you send it to camp counselors?
I sent it yes, I sent it to camp counselors, but I submitted it on their page. So for those of you wondering, we are diehard camp counselor listeners.
Listeners.
Podcast. We love them.
We're campers.
We're friends of the pod.
Yeah, friends of the
That's what they
pod.
say.
And I've always wanted to write in. I've had so many experiences. However, I just wanted to find I wanted
Live
to
while
write
you're-
something in.
I wrote in one and they like mentioned it and they're like, we can't say anything illegal
found
on
it.
this podcast.
Found it.
Yes. Yes. Anyways, as a little backstory to it, so our town, I don't know, should I start with, I think I'm going to end with that. I started taking Pilates because I just, like, everybody does it. And I'm like, I want something that gets me to the gym that isn't the gym. So I'm just going to read what I wrote in as a silly little story to break up the pod. Greetings to Zachariah and Jonathan, as I said. And also, side note, I hope we hear this on their podcast. It would be amazing. But anyways, a catastrophic California camper here reporting live from the Pilates parking lot because this is a story that needs to be told fresh, like the doo-doo I left inside the studio just under an hour prior. Wow, I'm realizing I should have said that this was somebody else. Katie, you should unmute yourself. I just think that the conversation's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually my friend, Gina sent this to me. She sent it in. I'm just gonna read it for her. How embarrassing. I will say, if I have not been a bartender for 10 years, slowly losing all pride and care about what others think or say to me, and blurring lines of what mortified me and what doesn't, I think I would have to forfeit my membership at the studio. However, your girl doesn't give a fuck because she gives shits. On platters. It all begins with me trying to be a health-conscious girly by delaying my caffeine intake like all the Instagram girlies and putting something in my tummy before I make it rumble. For that reason, this morning I woke up, had a few Brazil nuts and water while I did my skincare routine, and when I was done, I only had 15 minutes before I had to leave for Pilates, and your girl wouldn't be caught dead in an hour-long Pilates class without caffeine. So,
Okay.
I downed some orange juice. Okay, what?
Brazil nuts are so random.
Yeah.
What
I
made you choose Brazil? And do Brazil nuts have that effect?
They
Do you
have
think it was the Brazil nuts
something-
that caused the doo-doo? Or
No, I have 3 Brazil nuts every morning before I have coffee. Let me Google this real quick.
Why?
because I feel like I've heard that there's a benefit to Brazil nuts, but I just wasn't sure if you just
It's
enjoy them.
So it's it's because of health stuff. I heard it on a podcast 6 years ago, and I try to eat 2 Brazil nuts a day, and so I
And
just
isn't it
started
bad to
eating.
eat too many?
I'll go into that next.
Okay.
So inflammation reduction, antioxidant protection, diabetes, thyroid health, selenium, immunity, heart health, brain health, and magnesium. So that's their benefits. Now let's see their toxicity. Brazil nuts, while nutritious, can be toxic if consumed in excess due to their high selenium content. Eating
Oh.
too many can lead to toxicity. I wonder how many. And that'll be kidney failure, cardiac arrest, and death. How many Brazil nuts? I'm going to Google this while we're...
I think it's a few.
I've never even heard of Brazil nuts before.
I don't like
For-
the taste of them.
Oh, okay, yeah. No more than 1 to 3 nuts per day. The upper limit of
Oh,
selenium
you're
intake is 400 micrograms per day. A single Brazil nut can contain 68 to 91. Yeah, so I don't eat a lot of them. I start from like one when I'm usually like my mouth is dry when I get to 3, and I'm just like, cool, that's where I'll stop. Anyways, so I downed some orange juice in a cappuccino and sprinted out the door. Now, I did make note in my head that I didn't have my morning poop yet, and just chugged espresso, and I thought that was a little concerning, but I didn't put my faith into the universe's hands, and I didn't think it was that big of a deal. However, as I'm driving, I start to feel something knocking at the devil's door, and when I put my car in park, I know deep down there's no way in hell I'll be making it through an hour-long Pilates class. Poor Gina. Poor Gina. Typically, I sit in my car until I watch everyone else leave and then run inside and take the last reformer because I'm a native New York girly, and I'm here to work out, not make friends, which will no longer be a problem after today. I scurry through those doors, through the studio, into the bathroom that sits in the very back of the corner of the studio, which should be illegal. And as I'm doing Satan's work upon the throne, I look to my right and see a silly little sight that we all know. The Roomba is stuck on a freaky 70s rug under the sink. I have a good little chuckle in my head and say, silly little Roomba, tricks are for kids, and finish up my sins and scurry over to my reformer, light as a feather. I spend the next minute or two stretching and waiting for the instructor to arrive in ignorant bliss. Here I was thinking I had made it to the light at the end of the tunnel, just for the world to end, because when she arrives, the first thing she says is, oh my goodness, where's Roomba? Now, in hindsight, I should have just kept my mouth shut. But in a group of women who are twice my age, I decided to be the cute young one and say, oh, haha, I saw her stuck in the bathroom. Then she proceeds to enter said bathroom, stay in there for a moment, then exit with Roomba. I was shifting in my seat for a moment because I had just ratted myself out. That room is stinky, and I let everybody know that I'm the reason why. Slowly, my fear settles and the class goes on. Luckily for me, this was a jumping class. The class where you put a little board at the end of your reformer and jump up and down like a ballerina on its back. Well, I guess I didn't get to go all the way because between every single jump, a little toot scooted out of my booty. Now, I don't know what I put in my chicken noodle soup last night, but something wasn't right. I never smelt a fart come out of my body like that, and now there isn't a single safe space. The bathroom is smelly. The studio is sweaty and smelly. The only hope is that this is Pilates, and I'm surrounded by a bunch of old people with failing digestive systems and organs, so maybe everyone thinks it's just one of the geriatrics. I make it through class without anybody saying anything about the ferocious farts, and by the end of it, I had to tinkle-winkle again due to the chugging of liquids prior to class. I enter the restroom, and I'm caught by the most overwhelming cloud of Febreze that I only take half a breath in before my airways shut down, before I have to compose myself and then continue breathing. She knows. I pee really quick and wash my hands so fast because I don't want everyone else to think that I'm committing more sins behind the locked door. I scurry out of the bathroom, past my instructor who I can't look in the eye, and back to the safety of my car. I would like to say that I feel as though I can never go back, but I am also a middle sister of 5 and have always been the gross one, so I have no dignity left to care about stuff like that. To a fault. By the way, the class with old people was an accident, if you're wondering. Hopefully a godsend for the perfect cover-up to my crimes. Loved your detox demon possessing your airways. So a follow-up to this, the very, very next day, the whole 5 towns that use a water system was shut down due to an E. coli outbreak. And so our water had been infected, sorry, the word was missing, with E. coli, and I have a well, and usually it doesn't matter to me, but my work and my gym use city water. And so I had gone to the gym the day before, filled my water up, and had been sipping the water out of my water bottle the rest of the night. And so the very next day, this is the real details you're not going to get on Camp Counselors because I didn't know this when I sent it. I didn't send it in. So I probably had some sort of E. coli in my body, which is gross, which is like poo-poo.
I wonder if it was from the aquamation.
I was just gonna say,
Oh
I
my
bet you
God.
it was from the
Disgust.
Aquamation.
They haven't released anything else, but we were off city water for about a week and a half. And that was when we went to San Diego, like right before. So
Too many
yeah,
dead bodies in the water.
yeah, isn't that crazy? So it wasn't just me, it wasn't the chicken noodle soup, it wasn't the Brazil nuts. It was the poo poo water.
Poo water. I also feel like she couldn't pin it down to you. Like if she had just gotten there, like she doesn't know who went in the bathroom before you or like after you. You all you
They
said was that the Roomba was in there.
they teach like 3 or 4 classes in a row. So they'll
Uh,
hang out in the studio, like just kind of like surveying. And I don't consider myself to be a overly like observant person. However, I feel like I would observe who went in the bathroom, and I was the only one that went in the bathroom.
Oh, I thought like she wasn't in the room at all, or like nearby at all to see who went in and out of the bathroom.
It's hard to describe. Do you guys ever listen to podcasts and people describe like layouts of a room? It's
Yeah.
usually the crime podcast. Not once have I ever been able to picture it. I'm like, I don't get it. Like it, and so I won't try to do it to you guys. But it never forms in my head.
I always end up picturing a space that I've seen before, and I'm like, I know, like this didn't happen at my old apartment, but
Yeah,
I
that's
picture
funny.
this story actually at my old yoga studio, which was in Poughkeepsie, which
That's
clearly it was not.
I'm just imagining a random yoga studio.
yeah, yeah. That was fun. I've since gone back, by the way, and I've taken her classes, and she talks to me, and she likes me. I
Oh,
haven't
good.
had been overly tooty recently, so it's great.
That's always
Well, well, maybe you should carry some emergency poopery.
I should. Well, what sucks is I didn't even see the Febreze there. Like, if I saw the Febreze, I would have used it, but I didn't. But yeah,
Is that Winnie?
it is. Winston is making an appearance. Hello,
Here she
Winston.
is.
He's got eye boogies and he's mad that I'm getting him right now. Sorry.
He always looks annoyed.
You happy
I feel like
Boomer?
that's orange cat syndrome. They always just look annoyed.
No, but look, he's kind of like falling asleep in my arms.
I know he looks
He,
You're
cuddly
just like
right now.
holding him down like Darla. He's falling asleep in my
look, he
arms.
loves me. He loves me. No, he's like a little, he runs outside all day from like sun up until we feed him at night. I have to lock him inside after I feed him because he just wants to go back outside, but there's coyotes and stuff, so I have to keep him inside. But when I get into bed, he'll come into bed like 5 minutes later and like come to my face and start like purring and like nudging the covers because he'd like to lay and sleep under the covers with me.
He's
Which
cute.
is cute. Yeah. Katie, I want to know your mini conspiracy.
Okay. I was gonna say, do you want me to end with it? But I'll talk about it. So
I don't think
actually,
Natalie has much.
I know.
okay.
I was gonna say live related to your story. It's a very, very short one. I was in my
Okay.
MMA class today, and I don't know if someone farted or like moved their shoe and it sounded like a fart, but then the instructor was like, just so you guys know, like when we're like grappling each other, it's okay if you fart. Everyone does it and you can use it to your advantage. One time I was in a fight with someone and the other person like had me beat, but then I farted really loud and it caused them to pause enough and I actually won.
That is crazy.
I just thought I would share. You can use it as a weapon.
That's great to know.
And then we have Zion.
So,
Aw.
Zion. I actually, what was I thinking? I actually picked this for a few weeks ago, but then it's kind of like a mini one. So of course, I initially found it because I was scrolling on TikTok, and this one girl was talking about it, and she was like convinced, and I was like, okay, I've never heard of this before. And then, as TikTok does, the more I scrolled, the more like people coming up and talking about it were. So, have you guys ever heard of Walmart portals? Like portals to different dimensions or glitches in the matrices, specifically
I
with Walmart.
have actually.
Really? What have you, give me anything. What have you heard about it?
I was listening to Two Girls One Ghost, and they will bait you, and they like said something like this or like and have you seen the TikTok trend that people are like Walmart portals and they'll talk about it for like a minute and then they'll go into like what they're actually doing, and that's all I got.
That's all.
Like, but
Okay.
I heard it from them. But I've been meaning to look into it, so I'm happy that you did.
Yeah. Okay, so
Speaking of,
Oh my gosh.
sorry, that
okay.
was bad.
So, like I said, so this one girl I found and she was talking about it, and then I just went down the rabbit hole. So I have just like 4 examples, and I actually put for the last 3, I put and we can link it below, their usernames just to give them credit. But the first one, basically, this was the one that kind of caught my attention, which I thought was so weird. So this lady said that she was shopping at Walmart during the day with her older kids, and they were like maybe around 12-ish years old.
Is
And
yours
she was
sounding
looking.
weird?
Yes.
Natalie, can you test yours?
Is it sounding weird?
You're sounding good. Katie, try
Next.
again.
Hello?
So there was a lady shopping at Walmart, and it was doing it a little bit when you were talking before, but it stopped. Anyway, so this lady, she was shopping at Walmart with her kids. Her kids were maybe like 11, 12, 13, and she was just perusing around the clothing section, not doing anything important really. And she had this strange feeling, and she couldn't describe it. She's like, something just felt off, so I looked up. And when she looked up and looked through the clothing section, she said, allegedly, she saw herself and her kids walking by, but it was their younger selves. And she was like, I clearly thought that this was not real. She's like, I just did a double take. Like, I thought maybe it was somebody else or whatever, or maybe just, sometimes you see someone and you're like, oh, like I thought it was this person. But she was like, no, it literally was myself. I had my classic, she said her like classic quote unquote haircut. In the video, she had longer hair, but
Okay,
yeah, she showed a picture and she was like actual pictures. And
Well,
she
that was in my prime.
yeah. So she said she had her classic haircut and she like had shown the pictures, and she said that her kids were there, but they were all just younger. And she showed a picture of what they looked like. She was like, this is what we look like now, and this is what we looked like 10 years ago in Walmart. Like, this is what we looked like when we walked by. She also said that she had a miscarriage with her first child, and he was an older boy, and he was there, like walking, who she assumes, like walking with him.
Wow.
So that one was like a little bit more of a heartfelt one. The other ones are a little bit creepy, but she's like, I can't explain it.
Can I say something that reminds me of real quick?
Yeah.
So I listen to a lot of podcasts. So Two Girls, One Ghost, and some other podcasts have really been on this theory that everything happens all at once. Like your pieces of it's hard to explain. Like your family members that like you guys are like with you all at once, and then like it's a way to explain ghosts and stuff, where it's like, let's say somebody gets reincarnated, right? You still have like their spirit with you, and then they're reincarnated somewhere else, and I don't know, it's just like everything happens all at once, and then there's pieces of your soul that chip off and like kind of remain. But like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to look further into this, but that reminded me of like seeing into the portal of like that day happening all at once.
And she was there with her kids, and she's like, I just like looked, and there we walked by, and she's like, I was acting just how I would act. It was just weird. Her name, by the way, is Lulu Elliott. So then that kind of prompted me to go look at different ones, and I have 3. And as you're listening to these 3 in comparison to the one that we just talked about with the woman who saw herself walk by with her kids, it made me question, and I wonder what you think. Is it a portal? Is it, I mean, we know Walmart is like sketchy sometimes, but like, is it a glitch? So I'm curious.
How often do we look up though? Like, how often are you guys looking up in a store?
Well, she had kids, so maybe she just looked, but yeah, I'm not.
No, I'm saying like just for us missing it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So this girl, she said, she went to Walmart with her daughter and she parked her car. She pulled in and she didn't get out of the car immediately. She was just kind of gathering her items up, and she again just happened to look up. So maybe we're missing things, and she saw a woman just standing in the parking lot, kind of just ahead of her car, not like in the middle of the road, but just like kind of casually standing. And she didn't think anything of it. She like looked in her rearview mirror. Okay, my daughter's ready to go, getting her purse, and she looked up and she's like, "It's weird. This lady hasn't
Moved.
moved." And so she looked up and she was like, "This lady, all of a sudden, her face changed." And she's like, "I know it sounds crazy, but she was like, she got this giant smile that was ear to ear, and she was just
That's
standing there staring."
horrifying.
And she was like, "I left." She was like, "I know this sounds dumb."
Left immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was like, she said it's literally like the Netflix, the horror. Have you seen that on there? Like I haven't watched
I
it, but it
wouldn't.
comes up as a
I wouldn't
commercial.
be able to unsee
No.
that ever.
Creepy giant smile, and she was like, "I left. I had no problem driving a half hour to the other side of town to go to another Walmart because she was like that was just so weird. With there's like a hustle and bustle going on, like people are parking their cars, doing this, and this lady was just standing, and she's like, it wasn't just a normal smile. She's like, I would think that this lady was on drugs, if she was just standing there smiling, but she was like, it was not the smile was not correct." Um,
It's like not deer, but like a
yeah,
human. That's creepy.
yeah.
Sweet man.
The third one, her username is Tati, Tati. She said that she works nights and she got out of work at like 3 a.m. She worked the night shift at the hospital, and she normally loved grocery shopping during this time because nobody was there. And Walmart is open 24/7, so she'd get out of work at 3 a.m. and she would just go walk around Walmart and go shopping. So she said this was not out of the ordinary. She did this all the time. Like she lived in a pretty safe area. And she said one day she did it one night, and three ladies literally showed up out of nowhere. And so she's like, that's weird, because she was walking in and she sees these three ladies walking in, and she didn't think anything of it. She's like, okay, maybe, I don't know, they're just dressed funky, maybe, I don't know. And she's like, it was just weird because I don't remember any other cars in the parking lot, because she's like, I'm normally aware of that because I know I'm going shopping at 3 a.m. So I try to like pay attention to what's going on. But anyway, these three ladies show up out of nowhere, and she's like, it's just odd because I don't know where they came from, but they were walking in the doors with me. She said that they looked rough. They looked like they crawled out of a sewer. And every time she turned around, these three like witchy looking ladies
Oh my god.
were just behind her. And she goes through and she says that basically she was like in the healthcare aisle, and there's the three ladies and they're behind her just like whispering. And then she's like, okay, this is weird. So she goes to the clothing aisle, and these three ladies again are like behind her just like incessantly whispering to each other. And she's like, okay, like this is so odd because again, there was no cars in the parking lot. They followed me in, and now like there's nobody else in the store. Like, why are you following me around? And one of them ended up whispering her name. Like they heard her whisper her name,
That's scary.
and she
Yeah, because how do
freaked
they know her
out.
name?
Yeah, well, according to her username, her name is Tati. So, and that's not a like a
Common name.
common name.
No.
So she went over and she said that she was hiding in the clothing. She was like, okay, like I don't know what to do. So she's like,
Same.
I went over and I went to hide in the clothing. And one lady walked by out of nowhere. Like the three were split up as if they were looking for her. And one lady pops out of nowhere, walks by and says, here she is. And then the other ones all started like literally just creepily laughing. And she was like, I left my cart. I ran out. She says she ran out of the store, and the creepy ladies like walked out of the store too after her, but they weren't chasing her. She was like scared, so she was running. The ladies like were just walking. And so she gets in her car, and she thought she saw them walk out after her. She gets in her car, she starts the car, and she starts leaving the parking lot, and she looks in the rear view, and literally nobody's there. So she was like, was it real? Was it not real? Like, is it a weird portal? Like, but the weirdest part to her was how did they know her name?
Yeah.
That's so scary. I would have left immediately then, but I would also probably be scared to leave.
I would be
Yeah, so
scared
I'm
to
she
like,
leave
what's gonna
too.
happen?
I would probably like request one of the people. Like I'd be like, I know I sound crazy, but I think someone's following me. Will you please walk me to my car? But then in a horror movie, that person would be like, yes, I'll walk you to your car, and then they would be a part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying.
And then the last one is just interesting. It almost reminds me more of the first one, like maybe a Matrix glitch or like a weird loop or something. So this username, her name is Lauren. It's just this regular mom and her 7-year-old son are going to Walmart. And she posts pictures, which is the craziest part of this. So she is walking in with her son, not talking about any, like just talking, whatever, walking in broad daylight, and a guy and and his teenage kid who looked like almost like a, I don't know, like a t-ball player. Maybe t-ball's too young for teenage, but like I don't know, just a baseball player, maybe 10, 11, like young teenage. Well, I guess 13 if he was teenage, but like a young kid, not like an 18 or 19-year-old. So a guy and his teenage kid are walking in at the same time. She remembers this because she actually stopped at the door to let the guy and the kid go first. And she's like, that's how I remember this. So she stopped, let them go first, fine. Everything carries on like normal. And it was a normal shopping trip. Then the next week, she goes and she said it's a different time of day. And literally the exact same thing happened. And she was like, and I thought maybe I was seeing things. And I thought maybe I don't know, maybe I just like was remembering wrong. Maybe it was a different guy. And she was like, nope, the literal exact same thing. And she's like, what are the chances that I was walking in at a different time of day and this man and his like young teenage son, baseball playing son, are walking in and we go through the door at the same time, and then I stop and I let him go. And she's like, that's just so weird. Like, what are the chances? So then she is walking and these two are walking weirdly close to her. And she's like, okay, this is odd. So then she goes about her day and it's totally fine. And then the same thing literally happened a third time. It happened 3 times. And she posted a picture at the very end of them standing by the truck. She's like, the third time, I guess they weren't like stutter stepping at the door trying to figure out who's going in. I guess the third time she pulled in and this is what I remember. It's a picture that she took and it's like just a regular parking lot. It's a black pickup truck and there's just a normal looking guy and his son in a baseball uniform. And she's like, I tried different times of day. It's different weeks. And she's like, I don't understand. And so she's like, I'm afraid to go back. But I do think it's weird that happened 3 times. The sewer witchy ladies happened 3 times.
Oh, there's
and
3
then
of them too.
The first one was kind of on a like a loop,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Jeez, Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've never heard of this before.
Neither have I.
I wonder why Walmart. Like, why would Walmart be the break in the system? Maybe, okay, here we go, because the system hates everything like Walmart. Like, Walmart's the thing that's ruining, like, the type of thing that's ruining our planet. Like, with the aliens and everything seem to say our messages, like, stop cheap buying. Can you hear that, or is it just me?
Nat, try to mute yourself because it lights up your screen.
Oh, because I'm coming out of hers. But yeah, anyways, I think that, like, since Walmart is such, like, inherently bad, like, Amazon and such like that, still use them because it's cheap. But, like, they're the stuff that's killing our planet. Like, we've touched upon in other episodes. Like, maybe they're just closer to the other side because they're so bad. If that makes sense.
Maybe. I was
I was
thinking
gonna say
more.
maybe it's just like and so much happens at Walmart and it's so big and like a huge variety of people come and go. Maybe it's just like a big
Yeah.
collection center or energy center of like a lot of mixing of shenanigans going on.
Maybe it's something, like, about the build of their ceilings or something.
Wait,
maybe.
I just thought of something. This has to do with Walmart. This was a few months ago. Did you
I was
see
gonna
it
say
was
the
on the
lady.
news? The lady who got cooked alive.
Yeah.
This was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that was
was
at Walmart too.
It was like, okay, so I listened to this. It's been a while, but the mom and the daughter worked there. I think
Mm-hmm.
the daughter was cooked, or the
Yeah.
mom. One of the
It was
two
the
was
daughter.
cooked. And then I'm pretty sure it kind of turned out to be the mom had done it. I mean, could be wrong, but something sketchy and fishy went into there and it was a
I
murder.
think the daughter worked there. It was a giant convection oven. The daughter worked there and she never came home. So, and mom couldn't get a hold of her. So then mom says, well, allegedly, mom couldn't get a hold of her. So then mom says that she went to Walmart to go look for her and just so happened to be looking in the ovens and found her.
I thought I heard that they worked the same shift. And then they were like, well,
Oh,
why would
maybe.
you leave without your kid? Like, that's really weird for you to leave without your kid. So I don't know. But like I said, it's been a while, but I do
I
remember
thought they
that.
knew like exactly when it happened because everyone in the store could hear her screaming.
Ooh, I didn't hear
Really?
that.
I didn't
You
hear
can,
that
there's
either.
recordings of it. It's not good.
That's fucked up.
Well, maybe that's why Walmart didn't want us to hear that.
That
Yeah.
makes me so sad. Today, I gotta share something. I
Oh,
was
okay.
I was working outside. No, I'm like picturing it in my head. I was working on my outside area, and I live on my boyfriend's parents' property in a tiny house. And the area that we live in was like, is the barn area. And so
Hmm.
Hissam's dad, like, collects
Oh, I know.
things, puts them somewhere, and then never puts them away. Like, Hissam's like, yeah, those are weights that have been there since I was a kid. So he just puts them out there. And so today I was like, I'm done. I'm cleaning it up. And so they were leaning against the spigot of the fence and I was weed whacking. So I went and I pushed them over and they like laid on the ground. I walked away and I come back and there's like this poor little lizard. I can like picture it in my head. No, and he's smushed between the two and he's just like breathing to save his life. But he's like
Oh,
smushed and so I had to go back and like lift it up and then he ended up walking away. He probably died somewhere, but I felt so bad. And when you
That's
said
sad.
that, when you heard him screaming, I just pictured the lizard's face, like the poor lizard dying in my
I was
head.
gonna say, what does this have to do with Walmart?
No,
I
I
know.
I put flowers where he died, and I felt really
I'm
bad.
sad.
I felt so bad. Anyways,
My
continue.
theory, anyway, I do feel bad for the lizard.
Yeah.
I think that Nat was onto something that Walmart energy is just so chaotic. Like
Yeah.
we would always like growing up, like when I was a teenager, like it would be crazy. You're like, hey, like, do you want to
Like
go
you're a
get a
Walmart
soda?
shopper.
And yeah, or do you want to go like put a beer in a to-go cup and walk around Walmart? And like
Oh my
for
god.
us, Walmart was like freaky. Like people
Yeah.
were weird there and like go people watch.
But
But I
it's
do
also old
think
people who are broke. Like it's also young kids that are broke. It's like
Hmm.
people who are rich but cheap. Like it's
mhm,
everybody.
it's chaotic at
Yeah.
Walmart. And there's always a problem going on. And so I feel like maybe that's why like the creepy ladies, like they felt like they could blend in or like it's open 24/7 or I don't know. But maybe if like they were trying to hide a glitch, which I feel like a lot of the glitches and the portals like are enforced. But maybe they're like, oh, if we're gonna do it in a, like a urban area, Walmart's the place. No one will catch
Walmart's the
on that
Yeah.
place.
it's
I have
Yeah.
two kind of stories. One of them is related to the Walmart portal.
okay.
Kind of like just an interesting idea. Have you heard the Blue Angels, like the stunt pilots and the fly? Have you heard the theory that they're fake
Hmm.
people? Like they're just not real people?
Yeah, but who's
I
driving
but
the
they
drones?
crashed. They recently
No, no,
crashed.
no. Like
Yeah.
so there's a
Let
story
me
of this
see.
woman. So like people like they have fans and stuff. People want to go meet them. So after one of their shows, I forget when exactly this was. Um this couple brings their two young kids because the young kids are just like, oh, we want to take a picture with them, like, and hang it next to dad's picture,
I
who
heard
like
this.
met
Yeah.
them. And so the mom gets in one line with the son, the dad gets in a different line with the daughter, just to meet. There's a bunch of pilots lined up. So they're like, all right, we'll just do separate lines, take a picture, whatever, and we'll get out of here. The mom gets up to the two pilots in her line and just has like this feeling of dread. She doesn't know why. And she's like, something's not right.
Hmm.
Um, and she's looking at them and she's just like, one in front of her, she says both of them, but specifically the one in front of her, she's like, I don't know, like, what's giving me this feeling. Something's wrong, but this person is not a person. Like, this person's not real.
The lady on the plane.
Yes, and so I guess she takes the picture, whatever, and she's like, "We need to leave immediately. Like, we need to get out of here. Like, I have such a sick feeling." like this person's not real, and it's just giving her this full body feeling that she has to leave immediately and she's in danger.
I wonder if
So
anyone else
she
around her felt that way.
so she meets with her husband who had the daughter, and he has this shock on his face. He's like, "We need to leave immediately." And she's like,
Yeah, I know.
"What do you mean?" He's like, "Something was off, the arms weren't right. Like they're not real. They're not real." And she was like, they left immediately, like so fast.
Oh my god.
And so they both came to that conclusion separately that
But I'm
something was
saying, like,
off.
do you know how, like, your husband and wife, you're probably connected, probably at some part, like,
Yeah,
telepathically or energetically. Like, I wonder if anyone else felt that, like, going to meet them.
exactly. Or maybe it was like just meant for them to feel like a
I
message, or
wonder,
like they know something.
yeah. Well, you remember
What would
that
they
big.
be?
It was after, though, right? It wasn't
Lizard people.
before.
Yeah, it was after. So then a lot of people are like, maybe they were just under a lot of G's and felt a little funky.
Well, I was gonna say before because they have the 2007 Blue Angels South Carolina crash where they like hit each other and a few people died. 8 people on the ground were injured. Anyways, I was like, if it was before that, like maybe they could have been catching the feeling that something was gonna go wrong. But if it was after like a
I think
perfectly
it was,
fine show,
I don't
that's
remember.
crazy.
I think it's
It
kind of recently, unless
Yeah, I think it was
I feel like
recent.
meet and greets are after too. Like you're not gonna do a meet and greet before a show.
that's wild.
Yeah,
So do you
That
think
is
they're lizard, like
I want
actual
more.
people?
maybe. Because
I
it's
want
like
Wait,
so much
very
more.
selective. Like they only get like 2 new people like every couple years.
Yeah.
Like it's a
Well,
very
that reminded
selective
me.
group.
Quick, remember my
Or they
last?
do something to them.
They do something to them, maybe, but that was just a weird connection from a few episodes ago. Remember, I mentioned that Justin Bieber was caught at an airport turning into a lizard, allegedly.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something with airplanes and lizards. And the airplane, and wait,
I was
and
just gonna
lady.
say
I'm
that.
sorry. I got excited.
Maybe.
Jesus, sorry.
Maybe.
I didn't hear that because it echoed through my.
I
And
said
the lady on the plane who said this, like, this
there's a
person's not
connection
real.
between airplanes and lizard people,
Yeah.
Potentially. We'll have to dig into it.
allegedly.
Maybe they're
And
just
then my
beings
last
of the
story,
future that are like creepily made by the government.
I mean, it could be. I want to
And
know more. I think we need
maybe
to
the
dive into connections and like,
maybe okay, here we are. I mean, who's I'm going to expand upon this a little bit further. Who's going to let just anybody fly over a group of so many people? Like if you're a terrorist or like suicidal or any bit, all you have to do is crash and you're going to harm so many people and you know that. So maybe the government created these lizard people and the lizard people are like what are they called? All I'm thinking is that comedy movie of the fat lady on the airplane getting really drunk and then the
Oh,
air
bridesmaids.
marshal
bridesmaids.
bridesmaids, the
Bridesmaids.
air marshal, that's the word. Like and then they couldn't trust real people air marshals, so they're like we're putting our lizard people are the air marshals, we trust them, they could completely destroy people if they need to. Same with the Blue Angels, maybe that's what they're doing.
Could be.
That's a conspiracy though, made by me.
Made by me.
Made by me.
Homemade.
I don't know. I'm
Homemade.
curious.
Yeah, you said you have another
We'll look
one,
into
Nat?
that. Go ahead, Nat.
It's
Tell
more of a pet
me.
peeve.
Oh,
It was an experience that happened at a grocery store.
okay.
Surprisingly, not. I don't think it was Walmart. Maybe it was.
You're a big Walmart
It
shopper
was
these
Walmart.
days. Yeah.
It was Walmart. Um, so one of my pet peeves, it's kind of like a blanketed pet peeve, like general terms, it's just people that have no awareness of other people. Two grocery store stores. One was at
Yeah.
Walmart, one wasn't. So,
This
first
happened
one,
when we were splash chasing.
splash chasing. So first grocery store experience. I'm online, I'm in a rush, I literally have one item. And if there's lines everywhere, they're opening different registers, moving people around. Finally get set on a register, I'm next in line. The people in front of me, they have like lotto tickets and like one other thing. I'm like, sweet, this is gonna be quick. Like I have to like get home and like finish my work. I just have like a bunch of stuff to do. And the people in front of me, they realize how busy the store is, how long everyone's been waiting. They get their scratch off tickets and they're like, we actually want to do them right now and like just cash them in if we win everything. Like, do you have something we can scratch them off with? Like talking to the guy at the register. And he's like, yeah, I might. And then they're like, actually, we don't know how to do this one. Can you explain it to us? And like, can you like scratch it off for us? And they go through like 5 cards. They're taking like 10 minutes at the register to do these like scratch off cards, and they're like cashing them in and stuff. I'm like, could you not have like just moved to the side, done it on the side, and got back in line, and not made the entire line of people behind you wait
That's
10
also sort of
minutes?
on the cashier. Like, the cashier didn't
Exactly.
say
That's I
absolutely
was like
not.
staring, and I was like giving them the look, like looking, trying to make eye contact, and then looking at the line and like giving the disappointed look, like,
That's like when we're
what do you?
slammed at the bar and people try to order one drink at a time, or like they'll walk up and be like, what do you like
Oh,
here?
I
And I'm
don't
like,
know what I
do you
like.
see me sweating? Like, serving like
Yeah.
12 people at a time? You're gonna
Like,
ask me what to get?
I
Like,
don't know what I want.
don't. Or like when they're like, excuse me, and they flag me over, and then they start looking at the menu, and I'm like, are you
Or like
fucking
middle
serious?
of the parking lot
Like,
walkers.
yeah, I'm not gonna look at when they walk diagonal through a parking lot or a crosswalk. I'm like, now I can't go either way. But no, it's like, why are you gonna hold people up? You think you're better than that, or are you just dumb?
I think they're just not
It's
self-aware.
lack of awareness, and that's my pet peeve. That's why I blanketed it as lack of awareness, or like your effect on other people that is diminishing their
Yes.
experience in the world. Second story in Walmart, of course. This family, I don't know why they needed to go with like their 10-person family, like kids running around everywhere, like throwing stuff, whatnot. They have 2 massive overflowing carts of groceries and who knows what else. And it's not like that busy. There's like open registers and not. They decide to go in the self checkout where
I don't
there's
think that's
Never.
allowed.
2
That's not
registers.
allowed.
The poor guy at the like self checkout, he's like, I think I couldn't hear the whole conversation. I kind of just heard random whatever. He's just like, "Are you kidding me?" And he's like, "You can't check out here. Like, you have 2 full carts." And like the kids are getting in his face and like, "What are you, Donald Trump?" And like they're like causing a scene, and he's like, "Whatever." So they block the whole side, like the 2 registers. There's like one other register, the other one's closed, of course, because there's only 4 registers. And I'm just like looking at them, and I'm like, "Are you kidding?" There's like a bunch of people behind you that have like 2 items, and you're going to take your 2 overflowing massive carts with your obnoxious kids throwing stuff and cursing out the poor checkout guy that said like, "You have too much stuff to check out here." Um and you're going to take what, like an hour? I guarantee they wanted to do that because they're going to like steal stuff and not scan certain things, and that's probably why they were there. It kind of looked like that. But I was just so annoyed. I was just like, you people disgust me. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that you're doing this. Like, go to a normal checkout.
I mean, on the other end of the spectrum, like, give a shout out to the people where you're like running through the store, you have one item, and they're going up with a cart, and they see you with like one item in your hand, and they're like, you know what, go ahead. And I'm like,
Exactly.
you can
They
see my
had
energy.
no care in the world for anyone else but themselves. They're causing a scene. They have misbehaved kids who they're not like disciplining. They're causing a scene,
Now
and they have
may
their two massive. Why do you need that
I hate
many?
to say it, that's
their
where
10
you
kids are
live.
there.
That's where you
It
live.
is where I live.
Like,
I
you don't-
understand you have a bunch of rowdy kids and you need that many groceries, but maybe go
It's 'cause
grocery shopping
Walmart.
more often and
You
Like,
go
gotta
to
go
the
at 3
normal.
a.m.
when I'm
when
out here
it's
at
just the
Trader
creepy
Joe's,
ladies.
people are so friendly.
This Walmart is not 24 hours.
Wait,
Yeah.
I have one more thing to ask you, Liv, about Trader Joe's. You know how you said on your birthday you went and the guy got you flowers, the cashier?
Yes.
So I was just watching a video the other day, and this lady, I thought she was going to say the exact same story that you said, that it was her birthday, and she went, and the guy was chatting and saying blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh my gosh, like, happy birthday, you deserve flowers. And she was like, oh my gosh, yeah, like, I'm just not getting any today. And he sent somebody else over, go get her flowers. And so that brought the flowers over, and she's like, oh my god, thank you so much. And then he scans them and says like, that'll be 12 blah blah blah. And she was like, and I didn't know what to do, I couldn't say no. So she was like,
Yes, you
here they are.
can.
She's like,
Yeah.
I
Oh my
want
god.
my flowers.
That is crazy. No, and when you said that, that got me thinking, and I'm like, no,
That's
he gave them
insane.
to me after I checked out.
Okay.
Unless he like snuck it in as a code. but it was like a small little one. But anyways, it was because he asked me like how my birthday was, and I'm like, it was all right. I had to call out of work because I've had the worst poison oak all over my body for like a week now. And he was like, that's no way to spend your birthday, and then gave me flowers. But I would have
Oh.
been so pissed. It's like, okay, I thought you were giving me flowers. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I
would've
would have
said
just been
something.
like, oh, no, thank you. Can you
It's not
take those
even
off?
yeah, it's not even his flowers. Like
No.
why
I
is
know.
he
It just made me laugh. It just reminded me.
crazy?
Maybe,
Oh my
I don't
God.
know. Maybe there just wasn't a lot going on up there.
I don't know. Maybe maybe like management gave him the okay, like okay, give them flowers when they have like when they say it's their birthday or they have a bad day or whatever, and like they were just dumb and they like thought that they had to charge them for it and like
Yeah,
they
they
didn't
didn't
realize.
realize.
Yeah.
That could be too.
Could
That is
be. Or like it was just a miscommunication where like he heard her wrong or like she heard him wrong and it was just like oh, no one got you flowers and she was like maybe he thought she said, "Oh, I want flowers." I don't know.
Yeah, but in what world would you not go and pick out your flowers? I mean, if you're that dumb to think that you're
I
gonna,
don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. That's
I know.
crazy.
It just made me think of you.
Oh, we forgot to talk about the Arlington thing. Our high school.
Yeah.
Wait, let me bring it up. Katie, it's late near you, so if you have to go at any point, let me
Yes.
know.
I do as soon as you're done. But as you're looking it up, look at my hair.
Basically, your hair.
Crazy.
It's
It
dark,
looks like it's chopped.
but it's like it does. I will never do it because I always change my mind after I chop my hair. But like the bobs are in, and I feel like I would love a bob.
I
but
would love one
anyways,
too, but I can't
Only
do it.
for like a month. I want it for a month.
Oh, I was gonna say, Katie, me and Liv decided that you remind us of Amy Poehler.
You do.
Really?
You do.
Just like
Just
the
because.
she's just the same kind of funny that she is.
Parks and Rec is my favorite.
And after
So-
like hanging out with you, you're so like confident and loud. You're like, "Oh my god, puppy, puppy, puppy!" And I'm like, and me and Natalie are like, "Is she really doing this in public?" Like, but it's fun.
Yep.
Anyways, on a somber note, exclusive. The longtime non-teaching employee at high school is on administrative leave while the accusations are investigated, and it is Arlington High School employee under probe accused of inappropriately touching students. So
Non-teaching employee?
That would be like
non-teaching.
a
I think Katie what that
custodian,
means. They
like a
have their own
custodian.
office. They took students into their office.
Guidance
exchange
counselor, administrator.
I'm drawing a blank on like
a monitor.
yeah.
Yeah, custodian.
But a monitor wouldn't have an office.
Nurse.
No, but they have a closet.
Any of
But it says
the
specifically office. Like taking them into their office.
Like a director of I'm thinking
Yeah.
like a phys ed director.
Yeah. I could see it being phys ed. Yeah, or a
Interesting.
coach. Maybe a coach.
could
Coach.
be, yeah.
Oh,
I
That
would
could
bank on
be.
it being a coach. Because everyone else
yeah.
teachers are too nerdy
They do
for
have
that.
offices.
How can we figure out who? It says a long time too, so if it's long time,
Yeah.
Could be a guidance
It's
counselor.
gonna come out.
Non-teaching.
Yeah. Guidance.
I
I'm guessing
wonder.
either guidance counselor or a coach.
I have a certain person who is my guess, but only because not anything
I
crazy,
think
but because they were just always so flirty with girls, and they.
Can we say it if it's alleged? Or no?
I'll text it to you.
Okay.
We'll
I
just
got
say it
so
after
mad.
recording.
Yeah, I got so mad. I remember we were outside playing kickball, and I like didn't want to play kickball, and I kicked it. Like I did a fair kick, but I was just like, I
Angry?
don't know,
Like, whatever.
jogging, just whatever. And this person was like, "Come on, like you're on the volleyball team, you're athletic, like let's go." Meanwhile, there was this other girl who I actually know now. Not friends with her, but like a friend of a friend of a friend, and she was just like super ditzy and like ha 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 ha. She like kicked the ball, fell over it, and then was trying to run the opposite way, like the wrong way around the bases.
Oh my God.
And he was like, "Okay, get over here, like come this way." And I was like, "Okay, so you let her just
like kickball.
ditzy go around, and you're yelling at me." But yeah, he was always super flirty and
We saw what you wore in high
Is he?
school, Katie. Me too. Me too. But maybe she was cuter. Yeah, text us, and let me know. I want to give my reaction.
He's my guess, but I
I'm
have no
gonna
idea.
send mine too before. Oh,
I don't know
Katie.
who that
Yeah, that's
is.
actually a good guess.
Thank
I
you.
never had. I don't know who that is.
Oh,
That would be
okay. So
my
Matt,
guess.
your guess. He
I don't know
doesn't
if he
work.
still works there.
So listen, he was a teacher at a different school, and then he
He's a
came over to
coach.
Arlington to coach. Wait, I
Look,
have
I
another
think he
guess.
had an
autistic
No.
office.
sometimes.
He was my coach. He
I
was
don't know any of
cool
them.
because he was
Huh.
also.
I did marching band. It could be
I
creepy
also did
band.
marching band.
Creepy band. People have offices.
Yeah,
You never know. I don't see
but
band as
they
being
technically
serious.
teach.
Yeah, they're technically teachers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if
Oh,
they
that's
just do
true.
lessons. So I think it's some sort
True.
of like administrator or guidance counselor or coach.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Well,
it'll ever come out.
it's
Oh, I
gotta
think
come
it
out.
has to.
Someone's gonna be fired, and then it's gonna go
It's
to
definitely
trial
them.
allegedly. So
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
crazy, 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 crazy. Well, anyways, I think that's all we have for tonight. I mean, we
That's
could
it
always
for
keep on
tonight.
talking. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching 17 Scooters Club. Thanks for listening to 17 Scooters Club. If you weren't watching, please find us on YouTube at 17 Scooters Club, and you could catch everything that you missed visually, which is clearly a lot.
Clearly.
Let us know what you think of our new matchup of our format. If you have any stories you'd like us to read, like our lovely friend Gina did today, send us them at 17scootersclub@gmail.com, or you could DM us on Instagram or on TikTok at 17 Scooters Club pod. No, I don't think it says podcast, just 17 Scooters
No.
Club. And
Send
yeah,
us your stories.
send us your stories, share with your friends. Thanks for watching. Scoot, scoot.
Oot,
Bye.
oot.
Two wheels are better than four. From the mountains to the shore, fun is rolling up to the pub. We're 17 Scooters Club.